Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic that I wanted to talk about is what I believe the pandemic did to the majority of the population. Um, at least an aspect of, I'm not going to get into specifics of what it did, physically, but as far as consciousness or spirituality, what it did for everybody. And just wanted to get into it, give you a rundown of what I feel is what happened. Um, First of all, I want to preface that my mother always raised me up and said, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion. You'll get into arguments with your friends or family. It's not worth it. So I keep that to myself, and I don't I don't discuss that with anybody, and I don't judge them. And what you do is that's your problem. So um, I'm not here to convert anybody or anything like that. But I think the whole pandemic thing, first of all, what it did to a lot of people was wake them up from being on autopilot. Uh, People realize like what's going on here. Realize perhaps the shackles on them of the system. Maybe realize the prison that everyone's in, or not being doom and gloom, but people started to realize what's going on here. All this time they've been on autopilot. They haven't paid attention to anything. They've just been going through the motions, and which didn't happen to me because I've been awake in spiritual journey since 2004 or 2007, around there. So I've been going down the rabbit hole and just observing things. I've always been observing things, try not to get drawn into anything or any conflict. But people started to realize what's going on here. The higher ups. I think initially the higher ups, maybe the elites, the whoever is up there was trying to eliminate a lot of the population, or they were trying to instill fear in people, whether it was man-made or whatever it was. But uh, it woke up a lot of people. So people ended up looking at their priorities in life. They're like, I could be dead any minute now, or I could be dead tomorrow. Like, what are my priorities? Work, life, uh, you know, tons of things that people started to think about and gave them time to think about it. I uh, I was working throughout the whole pandemic, so I didn't have a moment to reflect on certain things. But um, a lot of people were on lockdown, and they were indoors, and they did have time to think about things. And I think that made everybody think about what do I prioritize in life. um, should I travel more? Should I do this? What do you value now that I'm in a restricted position? What do I value now? You don't know what you have until you lose it. So people were at that stage of, what do I do now when things hopefully get back to normal? What do I do? Do I go traveling? Do I go explore things? Do I start trying new things? Do I switch jobs, which a lot of people did switch jobs? Or it just made everybody take a step back and kind of look at, examine their life of what was going on. And and that was good, that people now, uh, if you are conscious now, I congratulate you that you're awake now. You can observe things, you question things. Um, Another thing was, people realized they've been lied to by the higher ups, regardless of political parties. You now are you start questioning things like, what's in our food, what are we drinking, how is our water, How is everything, our environment, how is it being affected? How is everything being treated? How does it affect our bodies? Uh, what about medications? What are medications doing to our bodies? Like, and all of a sudden, people are more aware of their health, um, what they consume, what they put on their bodies, which is good. Um, it just this overall thing that I'm trying to explain is that people have become, if the pandemic really like woke them up to think, because there's people that are probably still on autopilot, and whatever the information or stuff just went over their head. Maybe they're not ready to accept the information. Um, Maybe they just don't wanna like open their eyes and see what's going on. But everything. I think everything gets to everybody at the right moment. It's not something that it has to be now. Like maybe people have to mature more in their life, and then they understand things. Uh, so it's okay if people aren't open to certain things, and it's not time yet, and that's fine. Everybody goes through their journey through this life. Um, so yeah, so people were realizing they've been lied to by the higher ups, regardless of political parties, and you're wondering about the foods, and you're like, well, I guess the government's not looking out for things in my best interest. So you start questioning everything, and just cause people to just you right now you question everything. Well, what are we eating? Like now you're more conscious, and you're trying to be healthier. People are working out. People are getting outdoors more, visiting places. But like I say, try to be an observer and observe things, and not get drawn into the drama with anybody as far as like conflict. You know, I think there's a lot of things going around in the environment that uh, people are being pitted against each other, and I think that so much more would be accomplished if we work together. I always think that if we all work together, we didn't like. I grew up in the '80s. The '80s was, it seemed to me like people were more united in things, even though they had their differences, but they were still united more. And like, what would happen if we were united in this day and age, and everybody was all working towards a common goal? And there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of like the race war, or there's the genders, or the political stuff, which is more now, and religion and all that. And it's just, I think it's a lot of wasted energy trying to convince people of other things. Just let everybody be who they are, as long as you're not hurting anybody physically. People can be whatever they want to be, and it's okay. Just like, you're not going to convince somebody to be a certain way if they're not ready to be a certain way. So just respect each other, and just observe what's going on. But just wanted to give an overall insight of what I thought the pandemic did. Besides what it did to people that you lost loved ones and whatnot. I lost loved ones during that time, but it's I think overall, if they made it so a certain thing was going to happen to invoke fear, and to um, try to eliminate people, well, they didn't expect this aspect of it to happen, where a lot more people are now awake and questioning things. Um, I also wanted to say another point. Um, I went off track here, um, drawing a blank, but uh, just I think now everybody's gonna be just more aware going forward, of, you know, I remember now. What I was trying to say is that if you really sit here as like an observer, you'll notice a lot of things like in the media that come out, they're almost like the higher ups are like trying to scare people with something. And you always see like uh, there's an illness, or there's something in the food, or there's a bacteria, or there's this, or there's that. And I feel like they're just grasping straws, trying to get people to be in fear, which, if you're just observing and if you don't get drawn into that drama, you'll be fine. We should be fine as a collective, as a overall group, as human beings, as you know, everyone just observe what's going on. Uh, People getting drawn into these different things by the media, and then you see people acting out, like arguing, attacking each other. Like maybe what's been lost, or maybe what now at this day and age is what's going on, is that people don't have uh, communication with each other. People are so quick into getting into violence, which is not the answer. You know, people would have a disagreement back in the day, and you get into a fist fight, and then you shake hands, and then you're back to normal. You're cool. You know, uh, now everybody's so quick to like just shoot somebody. And you know, I may be going off on a tangent here, but I just feel that communication is one thing that we've lost, and we could regain. You know, talk to people. You made a mistake, whatever. And communication is one thing. Accountability is another thing. I'm sure you hear that. You know, people don't want to accept. You know, you made a mistake. Just say so. Made a mistake. And we learn from it and we move on, and that's it. You know, it's all good. We all make mistakes. We're here in life making mistakes from what we learn, what we do, and then we correct it and we go on. We keep, you know, that's how we grow. So just wanted to give my aspect of what this whole thing did, and hopefully I didn't go off too much of a tangent or off topic, but the just wanted to say, if you're here, you know, congratulations. Most likely you're conscious now, and you've also been like questioning things, and you realize something's off, something's different. Um, you know, before you were just going along with emotions, didn't question anything, and so on. But if you're here and you got in this far, congratulations. You know, from here on out, it's like what you've seen now you can't unsee. So uh, you'll start to grow from here a lot more, and you'll be observing things, and you know, we'll all grow from this, and we'll start making changes, hopefully in the better direction, where we all as humans unite more and accomplish so much more than what we've done so far. um, but just wanted to do a video on that, and I appreciate you guys taking the time. You know, I'm here trying to help people out there realize certain things, and hopefully I accomplish that. And let me know in the comments or anything how you guys perceive, or what's your take on what's going on, and let me know. Thanks a lot for watching. You have a great one. Take care. Be good. Later.